Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. It's the 20th of February, 21st of February, right? 21st, yeah, 21st of February. So yeah, just a few more days left, one more week left of February, and we're into March, which is, I know it happens all the time, but it's true. When you're older, these things move around quite quickly. So anyway, we're gonna take it easy and just chill and enjoy this Sunday, getting a few things prepared for the week for myself and Victor. So if you have questions or comments, feel free to ask, and if you come after later, when you're watching the replay, just hashtag replay, and then again put your questions in, and I will come back and answer all your questions. So basically the idea is today is that I just show you what we're doing for the week, how I use Epicure, how I get the kitchen working for me, how I make my week really simple when it comes to the meal prepping part, or the meal planning, prepping, eating, whatever, the meal making part, so that, hi Donna, so that it's not stressful for me during the week. So yes, I still have my job and do everything. So when it comes to lunch and stuff, I really just want to quickly heat something up and then get back to it. And breakfast, I'm the same way. Dinner, yes, I'll sit down and enjoy, but the other two meals, I'll enjoy them, but that's not really the process that I like. Those ones I just want to get right into it and move on. So that's kind of why I do this for the first few lunches and breakfasts of the week, just to get things started. So I have lunch already made from yesterday, actually, because I did a cooking class with the Mob Sisters. It was pretty good. So we have the crispy, crunchy lettuce wraps made up and ready to go, plus some queso. So that's our lunch. Dinner, I'm actually going to be making the Southern baked chicken and some rice to go with that. And then for lunches, I'm actually going to be making fish chowder. We had some fish in the fridge we needed to eat up, so that's what we're going to be making. I'm going to actually make some hot chicken dipping sauce. I'm going to try that with the rotisserie seasoning, and if I get to it, I'm actually going to, I will be making, but you might not watch, the bliss balls and some lemon cupcakes. So that's kind of what's on my plan for today. So let's get started. So here I have some chicken already chopped up, the strips, chicken thighs. This is another thing good for their bowls. You can just put the bag right over top and dump everything in. And then I'm just got my Southern bake, just so you can see what's kind of like what it looks like in there. So this is basically a shake and bake. And then about a tablespoon of some oil in there, and then just close it on up and shake it and massage it and do all that lovely stuff. I actually used our scissors to chop the chicken too, so it's a lot easier. It doesn't have to just be meat, protein, it can be vegetables as well. Potatoes, sweet potato, even zucchini. Okay, so there we go. There's our chicken. And then I have a cookie sheet. I said that you were in my way. Get out of my way. Alright. So I just want to spread it out a little bit. The smaller the pieces and the more space in between things, the faster things will cook. So we just want to move things around. You just know that it'll take a little longer if they're like big pieces or if they're kind of touching a lot. So that's another thing if you want to speed stuff up. But sheet pan cooking is awesome because literally you can put everything on it and it'll just, 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, depending on how much is on the thing, it will be all done. So there we go. Southern baked chicken pieces. All right, into the oven. piece was actually getting the potatoes and zucchini ready for, I'm like all over the place today. Whatever. I'm going to use the steamer. I am going to get our potatoes and zucchini set already in the microwave, just because it will cut the cooking time down. So I'm just using our ceramic knife, chopping up some potatoes, which is a good idea that I decided to do this today, because our potatoes are getting a little wonky. Sometimes we like potatoes, and then sometimes we go like weeks or months without really wanting to eat potatoes. So it's one thing where I don't particularly go for buying the big bags when it comes to us, because we don't always eat potatoes. It's just sometimes like a little craving and you have them for a bit, but that's all right. So I'm just going to use them all up. So, good morning, Tracy. Grandmother would be so impressed. She would. She is my inspiration. Or, yes. Anyway, Tracy, if people are watching, Tracy's my aunt. She's not that a lot much older than me, actually. So 16 years. So we have quite an interesting relationship. And what she's talking about is her mother, my grandmother, who actually used to look after me a lot as a child. I used to go to my grandparents every summer when I was like 2 to 5, I guess, or 6 or something. And then I would, when we moved close, and we were just down the street from them, I would go to my grandmother's every day, and grandfather too, every day for, we looked after before my parents came home from work. And my grandmother, who's Hungarian, taught me cooking. So we would go in the kitchen and make all different types of food. And what she taught me was, when you make it, you're much more apt to eat it, right? Because you want to try what you've made. So that's kind of why I always say to everybody, if they have children, and are trying to get them to eat their food, totally recommend getting them actually in the kitchen cooking with you and making the food, because then they're more likely to want to eat it, because they'll have the whole pride and feeling pretty awesome about it. And then they also get to be all like, I was a part of that, right? And then it's pretty cool. And it's also a really awesome skill to teach your kids. So learning how to cook for yourself, learning how to be creative in the kitchen applies to so many other aspects of your life. Just with work, with making decisions, everything like that. It's really an awesome thing. And so they also taught me creativity in other ways too, of course, because they were, my grandmother made quilts. She taught me that stuff. My grandfather is an artist and a poet and philosopher, so he taught me quite a bit about all that. So as a very young child, I definitely was drawing and painting and creating in the kitchen and all that kind of stuff, which from there, my aunts took over. Tracy and Margot took over with a lot of that and teach me quilts and drawings and all that kind of fun stuff, and just have fun with it and not be worried about whether something, well, that's the other thing, all of them in essence, don't worry about being perfect, just have fun with it, and my grandmother was very big on that. So it was a joy working with her in the kitchen, and I definitely miss her a lot, especially for that part. Okay, for some reason I'm getting teary about that. Okay. All right, so I've got my 2 big bunch of potatoes, and I'm not using carrots and celery today because I'm gonna actually use zucchini, and I'm going to zucchini, and then at the end, when I'm putting it all together, I will put peas in it. So I'm just going to do about a half a cup of water. Actually, I'll put a little bit more because I think I put a little extra in there. Salt is always good. When it comes to potatoes. All right, so now this is just going to go in the microwave for about 8 minutes. So I'm going to say I will probably do 10. All right, 10 minutes. Excuse me, 10 minutes for that. All right, next I'm gonna do is get ready is the rice, because that's what we're having tonight with the chicken. I'm gonna use our new round steamer and get rice going. So again, it's the same concept. I'm gonna do a cup of brown long grain rice and 2 cups of water and some seasoning. So I'm just gonna use our chicken broth or our nourish broth for the seasoning. Okay. Okay, and nourish broth. Just gonna do 3 teaspoons. Because it is 2 cups of water. And our awesome new brown steamer. So that'll be ready to go once the potatoes come out, and then I can move on to that. All right, so that's the southern baked chicken is in the oven for about 20 minutes. That's ready to go. That's dinners for a couple of nights. I've got potatoes going for the fish chowder and zucchini with that. And when that comes out, I'll put it all together in the wok. And then the rice is ready to go as well in the microwave once that comes out. So 10 minutes and then 10 minutes and that's done. And now next I was gonna actually make this cool, it's called hot chicken dipping sauce. So I thought I would give it a try. So literally I'm going to take, it just says a saucepan, so it's about a couple cups of water in that. So I'm just using a frying pan here. It says, so 2 cups of our nourish broth prepared. So basically that just means 2 cups of water and 3 teaspoons of the nourish broth. Ooh, forgot I didn't take the lid off. So that's just 1, 2, 3. It says a tablespoon of ketchup. Messy ketchup. It says a teaspoon of, well, I'm not even going to pronounce it, but you know, Worcester sauce. It then says a teaspoon of honey, which I'll just kind of gauge, because that's definitely not a teaspoon. Oh well. All right. So what I'm going to actually use is our rotisserie chicken. It says a teaspoon of barbecue sauce, but I'm actually going to use our rotisserie chicken instead. Seasoning. And I've got about a tablespoon of left in there. And what the little cubes you kind of saw here were just some frozen tomato that I crushed up, and and a red pepper jelly I had made myself. What's in the lump? There you go, that's the lump in the pan. So one of them was just crushed tomatoes that I'd made up and frozen, and the other was a red pepper jelly that I made myself. So I had a whole bunch of peppers, and I just cooked them down and turned them into like a sauce, and then I'm just froze them for like topping into something. So it's going to give a little bit of heat to my sauce here. And then that's it. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, and it's get a saucepan. You're going to bring it to a boil. gonna whisk everything in, and then once it starts going, I'm gonna be making the gravy piece and put the gravy in, and salt, of course, if you want. I will put a tiny bit in. I feel like it probably doesn't need that much. Okay, so I'm just gonna get that going. And then it just says to make the gravy. So the gravy is literally like, so half a cup of water. We'll get our poultry gravy or the savory gravy. And just mix that up. And then when it gets to go, once it hits its boil, then I would put this into that. And then just for a couple more minutes, about 3 to 5 minutes, it says, it should be good to go. And then you can just store that in a cruet or a container of some sort in the fridge if you don't eat it all at once. I will have it for tonight's meal, so our chickens, we can dip our chickens in it, our chicken pieces, and then the rice. So that's the gravy ready to go. All right, so that is the hot chicken dipping sauce that we just made or making. Let me clean up a little bit. Okay. Potatoes are almost done, so then I'm going to be able to just throw it all together. I am using our chicken style home-style chicken stew seasoning. Pretty close to the fish chowder one, so it's good. And I've made this before, and I really like it. So, and so does Victor. So literally, we're not putting in the chicken. So basically, I'm just going to go ahead and get everything set up. So I am using our wok. So the idea is to have the seasonings with 2 cups of water set aside, ready to go. So I'm just going to put it right into the wok, because since I don't need to brown the fish, I will just putting in the fish kind of in at the last moment. Okay, so touch the seasoning in, and then I would microwave all the potatoes and the veggies, and that's happening right now. And then I would dump that into here. Once I get that, I can dump the fish in, because I will literally just be 5 minutes of kind of getting everything done. And then I can toss in the frozen peas right at the end. And then there we go. We will have fish chowder that we can have throughout the week for our lunches. Super simple. And what I'm using for fish is actually just some scallops and some whitefish that we had, which I will dump right in. Just giving the gravy or hot dipping chicken sauce a go. Into a boil. All right, so now I can move on to some dessert, or actually I should say breakfast, because my bliss balls I like to have for breakfast. Okay, so bliss balls are pretty simple. I just use a food processor and dump everything in and then go from there. So I got going to get some 12 dates. 12 dates, and a half a cup of butter, almond butter, nut-free butter, whatever you like. purpose for a saucepan instead of like why can't I think of words today? Anyway, the tall pot type things is the wider the surface area, the faster it'll thicken up, kind of idea. So now I can add in the gravy and turn it down a little bit so that it just simmers away. There's our potatoes. And I can put the rice in. And the same thing, 10 minutes. Chicken's coming along. Okay, so now here is the potatoes and the zucchini. So I will probably pull out about half for our fish chowder and leave the other half to rip up. Hi, Carla. So I'm just going to scoop in the potatoes and zucchini. Turn on my heat. You don't have to do potatoes with this fish chowder, of course, if you're not a potato person. You can just make it with whatever veggies you like. Alright, so I put in potatoes. I've got some left over I'll use for another meal, so that can go aside. Will go for about 5 minutes, and then I can put in the peas at the end. Okay, so back to my bliss balls. All right, so it wants 12 dates. It wants 2 scoops of protein powder, vanilla or chocolate, whatever you want, or whatever your favorite protein powder is. It wants a half a cup of hemp hearts. What I use is actually just a bit of oats, quick oats. And then it wants some 4 tablespoons of some milk or dairy free, or actually you could just do water. It's whatever you like. And then of course your peanut butter. I'm just using tahini. But you could use peanut butter or any kind of seed or sunflower oil you like. And that's it for this part. Go around the sides, pull it back together, and then it's pretty close to being done. Okay, so there we go. That's the mixture. So what I'm going to just do is roll them into balls and mix them into whatever you want. So what actually I will do is just put them in. I'm just going to roll them in. I seriously, no brain power today. Like literally words are not coming. So anyway, I'll just get it and show you. Because it seems to be that's easier for me. I am going to mix it in a little bit of our summer berry and cocoa crunch. That's what I'm going to do. And that would be the chicken. There's our southern baked chicken pieces all ready to go. Just set that to the side to cool. Shut off my stove. And the sauce is coming together, it's thickening up. Say a couple more minutes for that. This chowder, I just need to turn up the heat because I didn't have it hot enough. All right, so then what I'm going to do is keep making a mess because seriously, it's just fun to do that. Okay, there we go. So just grab a mixture or a ball of the mixture, how much you'd like. Roll it into the seasoning that you like or whatever flavorings. It could just be green powder, it could be more chocolate powder, it could be dark tutti frutti, that was the word I was looking for earlier and it just left me. Whatever you like. You could put it into more protein powder. Roll it right back up into the protein powder. Crushed nuts, coconut. One of my favorite way to do this is with the vanilla powder, our lemon mix, or lemon mix one, and then roll it into coconut flakes. And that's nice for a little different, but today I decided to do chocolate. All right, with a bit of summer berry. And then you just let them set up. You can put them right in the fridge, but you can just let them set up, and they'll last about, well, for me, they last about 2 weeks, but it's whatever you want. If you think you're not gonna get to them, freeze them, and they'll last in there. Hello, Marissa and Charlene. Did I make these for your breakfast last week? No, last week I made superhero cookies. Actually, 2 weeks ago I made superhero cookies. And I made enough for 2 weeks. So now I'm in the situation of like, I need another breakfast. So that's what I'm making the bliss balls for. But I try to make some things last me for a few weeks, like 2 weeks or something. And then the other things, it might just be the week, or I might want to switch it up. So like I could want eggs. I could make egg bites and have those for the week. What am I at? I'm getting close to my time. So we're almost done. For you guys, if you guys want to, don't want to be here forever. Not that I'm going to be here for much longer, but let me just check on our fish. So this is the fish chowder. It literally will take another 5 minutes or so. I can add the peas and then that's done, and I can have that set aside for the week. So no big problems there. And my sauce. This is the hot dipping sauce. You can see it very, I don't know if you can see it very well, but anyway. So I will let you know how that turned out. We will try it today, but it definitely thickened up, and it's got little chunks of the tomato and pepper in it because that's what I use. But you could blend it up so you have no little chunks easily enough. And the rice is literally going to be done in 1 minute, and then that will be that. So literally, I'm almost done with my choice of food today for this week. So as I said, we're having the southern baked chicken, so like chicken bake with the rice and some of the leftover of the veggies for dinner tonight and tomorrow night, probably with a nice salad or something. Lunch today is going to be what's left over from yesterday, which was our crispy chicken lettuce wraps, but I made it with ground beef, actually, not chicken, and our queso. So we'll have those, probably make some like non-bread chips for dipping. And then lunches is going to be the fish chowder for the next probably about 3 days based on the size of what's made. And then from there, I can go ahead and decide to make something different in a couple days from now, or leave it with our quick 20-minute meal options. But basically it just gets my week started, so I don't have to fuss with trying to figure out what's for dinner. And a lot of that is, if you've heard me talk, all of you, so you probably know, but I like to write it on a board, and just so that myself and Victor knows what we're having for the week. Okay, so there's the bliss balls, all done. Okay, chocolate bliss balls with a bit of summerberry and cocoa crunch, and the rice is done. So literally this will just set aside and finish, but pretty much it's all done, ready to go. So yeah, if you just let it sit for the next few more minutes, it'll finish soaking up the rest of the water, and then that will be done. So rice is done, chicken is done, sauce is done for the chicken, fish chowder is going, breakfast bliss balls are done. There's leftover potato and zucchini that we can put into something later in the week. And I think we're good. So there we are. Thank you everybody who joined in. If you have more questions, feel free to ask. If you have questions about any of this, what Epic is all about, just simple meal prepping and planning tips, yeah, you can feel free to ask. I can send you some of my ideas. We can chat if you'd like, just to kind of get what's working best for you. So, you meal prepping and planning may be something completely different for you than it is for other people, so we can chat about that. But I definitely say, write what you're eating for the week, have it on the fridge, and then, all of you who live in the house will know what's going on, even yourself, because every decision we make adds a little extra stress. So if we can just say that decision is done and taken care of, that's great. Maybe you're not into the whole making some stuff up like I've done today, but portioning things out and having them already frozen and ready to go, washing and drying and preparing your veggies is a really good thing. So your veggies are ready, so you don't have to wash them. Maybe even chop them. When it comes to mealtime, you can have them chopped and ready. Portioning out protein is big for me, whether it's beans or meat or whatever, it really doesn't matter. But if you portion it all out and have it set aside, then literally it's just you grab that, your veggies, toss into a pot and make whatever it is you're making, curry, butter chicken, stir fry, and away you go. And then if you have your seasonings nicely prepared or set out for you, like you all know mine, but I'll just quickly show you, like that. You can easily just go over, I've got this. I can pick my meal solutions, and away we go. And that might be all you need to do, is just pick out the 5 meal solutions you want for the week and have them set out, so you know that you're making these, whether it's pad thai or butter chicken or something like that, and away you go. So there you go. There's my meal prep for the week, and have a great week yourself. There's still birthday celebrations going on, so people can still get in on, sorry, I'm making you all move around too much. Still get in on that, whether it's sharing or putting in a cooking class or putting in an order or partaking in the games that are going on. You can still get into all that. 1 more week left. March looks pretty good for cooking classes. The special looks awesome. So if anybody wants to partake in that, that would be pretty cool. I would love to have any one of you have a cooking class during March, or even this week. There's still time to get in on February's cooking class special. It's actually the multi-purpose steamer, the one I use for the potatoes, for at a discount with 2 seasonings to try. One is brand new. It's the Chinese fried rice, and the only person who gets to try it is the host, so it's pretty cool. So, and there's still some teppanyaki seasoning left, so if anybody wanted to try that, you can still get in on that taste test. And yeah, there you go. And there's lots of things coming, so stay tuned and have a great Sunday. Thanks everybody who joined.